Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another Tuesday morning Mortgage Coach call. We're here to deliver leadership, inspiration, always bringing great authors, great top producers into the community to share ideas and strategies that are working. My name is Dave Savage. I'm the CEO of Mortgage Coach. If you're on this call, hopefully you have connected with me on LinkedIn, Facebook, you subscribe to our YouTube page, and you have downloaded the apps that Mortgage Coach creates to help you deliver value to buyers and realtors. I've got a couple guests today. We're going to start it off with Danny. Danny is one of the leaders of the Gaylord Hanson team, won a premier mortgage practice in the San Diego market. I've interviewed Danny, more times than I can count now, but I think it's close to a half dozen. And every time he brings just great insight and ideas. So, Danny, thanks for making time today.
Absolutely, Dave. Appreciate it.
Yeah, well, hey, it was good hanging out with you and your team at Mastermind. When I reflect back on some of the highlights from last week, and the interview with George W. Bush was just crazy. I mean, it was very entertaining. It was a humbling experience. But when I think of the takeaways I got from that, it's the second time that I've seen George Bush. It was the first time I saw him speak from stage. No, it was the second time through stage. I got to spend a half an hour. Probably a total of 2 hours, but a half an hour in a conversation with President Bush and four of my friends, years ago at a Rangers game. And the thing that I take from that experience was just his X factor from a personal presence standpoint. I mean, when I met with him one-on-one, he was engaged. The way he connected with me and everybody around him was just it was almost superhuman. And his presence from stage was incredible. Danny, what were some of your thoughts and takeaways from George Bush last week at Mastermind?
I mean, it was an incredible experience. I couldn't agree more, Dave. And I mean, just how funny he was, and how how much he let us get kind of behind the curtain with some of the insights that he brought. And then probably the most important thing for me as a takeaway was how he brought his focus on values and core values to his leadership. And one of the things that really struck me was when he said, people shouldn't follow a person, they should follow an ideal. And, for him, the ideal is the greatness of the United States of America. And looking back on all that he did and what, the additional insights he brought, I mean, it's so obvious that he holds that true and absolutely true.
Yeah, no doubt. There was a lot of takeaways. That story you told about Pluton, or how I'm pronouncing his name wrong, but around what he learned, something happened that he was frustrated and irritated about, but he didn't react to it. He listened, and then he had sincere curiosity around where's that person coming from. So again, takeaways as a mortgage professional, the importance of presence and just making people feel as though they could be themselves around you and that you're really interested in them. That is something that he does at a superhuman level, and great takeaway. Also, before we get into the meat of the call, last week I received my Apple Watch. So I don't know how many other Mortgage Coach members have gotten one or have ordered one. I would be curious to know whose game is on. I know Tony Blodgett from New American has one. If you do, please, let me know on Facebook or in the GoToMeeting. And also, what was your takeaway from President George Bush? If you saw him speak, let me know in the GoToMeeting panel. So today is all focused on Video Simplified. We want to make sure everybody who's on today's call understands why Mortgage Coach videos, not just video, but a Mortgage Coach video is so critically important, not only today, but as we move closer to TRED and as we move past TRED and post-TRED, it's just essential. Mortgage Coach is valuable today. It's even more valuable tomorrow. I want to make sure you know why, and I also want to make sure you know how. What should you be doing today? So the call is all about that. We're going to have Josh Mettle joining us about halfway through the call. Josh only has about 15 minutes to be on today's call, and he's going to bring some leadership at 9:30. So stay tuned for that. So Danny, think of today's call as just a conversation between the two of us. I'm gonna share a few thoughts, but just let's have a conversation. Think of it as like a radio interview, and let's go through and bring leadership around what everybody should be doing. Sound good?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So I think when you think of TRID, we've interviewed Mitch Kiter 3 times now, or no, twice, and we have our third one scheduled. And there, I've listened to those. We've not only that, we've edited them so that we literally, for every question we have Mitch, we have a specific answer. But a couple quotes, and you guys have, if you've been on any of our calls for any length of time, you've heard this one. But I really, as we kick off video, I really want you to think about this, that realtors need to be even closer relationships. According to Mitch, you're going to need to even communicate with them even more often, because collectively, you're going to need to communicate with the buyer better than you are today. So when you think of that, think of the two mortgage coach apps, the Rate Watch that talks about rates, market insights, makes you that mortgage pro, and then the foundational mortgage coach app. We're going to talk about what we've improved, how we've made it better, how we're helping you with videos. But just to set the table, when you think of Mitch's quotes and you think of this concept, that with TRID, it's all going to be about communicating, educating, and managing the borrower and the realtor experience. So first, there's numbers. There's some different numbers than we've had in the past. Cost over 5 years. We've always had APR, but now we have total interest payment. And when first of all, when you think of interest over 5 years, for most people, that's a couple cars, with no car payment. It's a lot of money. And when you look at TIP, it's mafia money. So how you present those numbers in the context in which you do it, it's going to be more important. And you have to ask yourself, when presenting the numbers, whether it's a pre-qual TBD, whether it's a refi, or whether someone just calls you and says, hey, I'm in escrow and I want to buy this house, how do you want to deliver that? Do you want to deliver those numbers in a PDF fee worksheet, or do you want to deliver those numbers prior to the disclosures and with graphs and charts, showing the cost of 5 years with graphs and charts, interactive, and most importantly, adding a video. Being able to add a video or an audio narrative so that people are following along. So Danny, I want to walk people through this, but then I want you and I to really start talking through this. So, Mortgage Coach has always been the loan option with a video. Every mortgage coach, that's what they do. But with TRID, we're seeing more and more mortgage coach, and Danny, you guys have been a leader of this strategy for a long time. The numbers in a video, TBD, when you're pre-approval, they firm up, they pick a home, let's update the options, let's update the video. Something changes throughout the process, update the numbers, update the video. Let's face it, the loyalty factor, the chance of someone referring you business or coming back to you is going to be greatly predicated on how smooth the closing goes and how wowed they were at closing. And so again, another opportunity to update the numbers, update the video, and then of course retention. Continue to provide education to a buyer after they've closed, whether that's an annual review or whether, hey, rates went down 0.5% and you're providing leadership. So Danny, first of all, this is something that you and I have collaborated on before the call. I've also collaborated with a lot of other top mortgage coaches. Any comments at this point as we're in we're bringing this leadership to everybody?
The only thing that I want to highlight here is the title here, the Mortgage Coach Experience, and I think that's really a key, a key message is that when we're approaching the whole loan process and integrating the Mortgage Coach and the Mortgage Coach videos into that process, that's really what we're after. We're looking to create a feeling in the client that they really can access this information, which prior to coming into the mortgage process, they probably felt was a daunting amount of information, and that we're looking to find a way to make that information accessible to them so that they can confidently make a choice, and that by creating this basically information ecosystem within Mortgage Coach and then using videos to then back that up, we can break all the points down in such a way that the average person can come in and say, well, you know what, I get that, and I can take confident action. and starting with the TBD video and taking them all the way through allows them to kind of get comfortable in a low pressure environment. The TBD video, no choices are being made, and so they can get familiar with the information, so that as time goes on, really each of these videos is getting to be more and more of a commitment, with the exception obviously of the annual review, and now they've kind of gotten eased into it, which is why this multi-phase process is really an effective experience for them.
Right on. So I want everybody to, right now I want to make this not only, direction, ideas, but I want to make this an exercise. So I want everybody to make sure you've downloaded both apps. We're going to focus right now on what I would call the core Mortgage Coach app. So I am dragging my, this is my my iPhone right now. This is a picture of my iPhone. Let me shrink it so that it fits here. Hang on, everybody. No, I guess I'm not going to be able to shrink it. Hang on one more time. There we go. Hang on, Danny. I'm having some technical challenges here, trying to get my video over. There we go. I got it over. Okay. So this is my iPhone. I want you to notice in the upper left-hand corner here, you can log in now. So if you click on that button, you will get a login screen. Put in your username, put in your password, click sign in, and now this is what the screen looks like. So I want to make sure, one, everybody knows that from a KPI, from a performance standpoint, you can see how many reports you created weekly or monthly, and you can see alerts, both weekly and monthly. So this top area is the views, this bottom area is the reports. So you can track that. Now, we wanted to, this is part of our TRID preparation to make it easier for you to add a video throughout the process of the loan. So all you need to do, first of all, you can search the scenario. I'm going to click on this Ken Perry on TRID, and if I was to click on video right now, I could either go to my album and grab a video that I've already created, or to my camera, and boom, I'm in the Portland office right now. I can record a video. So we've just made it super simple for you to add a video to every Mortgage Coach report. So again, I just can't emphasize how important it is that if you have not already gone through this process, that you start going through this process and you start adding videos. So again, just to go through the checklist again, this is a screen. If you have not seen it, go to it. From a performance standpoint, start reviewing, your metrics weekly, daily. I've had a lot of loan officers say they love the search feature just because they could be with a realtor having a coffee meeting, and now they could pull up a specific scenario and walk the realtor through that. So just think of it as sharing a strategy and story while in the field with a referral partner. But not only can you drive the video, you can also drive live. So that button that says live reporting, that could actually help you walk through, like if the family was in another location, you click on live, and now whatever you're showing on your mobile phone, they're seeing. So Danny, I know you've played with this a little bit. Any comments that you have around this new capability, this new feature?
That live reporting feature especially, it saved me just yesterday. I had an appointment that ran long, and I couldn't get back to the office in time for my next consultation. And so I was able to just sit in my car, go through the Mortgage Coach app with a client. Actually, a whole family was there on the other side, and I was able to move through all the screens with them. And it was a game changer to be able to do that without having to call them and reschedule my appointment. Just being more untethered and being able to provide the same value to the client is huge. And the video, of course, being able to do the same, if you are out and you know that there's a message that is best communicated in person, but it's just impossible to do that, the next best thing is video. So being able to just very quickly, almost leaving like a video voicemail for your client with the total cost analysis to back it up, it's a huge value add for them to get that comfortable feeling. Well, Danny took the time, or Dave took the time to actually go ahead and record a video for me, it lets them know that they're important and that you have the advice that they need.
Love it. So yeah, I want to hit a few questions that have come in to GoToMeeting. So Kelly Jones is asking, speaking of Apple Watch, does RateWatch work on Android Wear? So not yet, but feel free to email that into support at Mortgage Coach. Anytime you guys have a feature request, let us know. Also, in our support center, there's a whole chat where you can, put in a feature request. People can, rate it, and every time we get together to add features, it's based off of, what Mortgage Coach community wants. So I recommend that you post that and let us know that you want it. Elizabeth, thank you for jumping in, said, that's great because the video quality on my phone is far superior to that on my laptop. By the way, Elizabeth, you're not alone. That's another really cool part of this new feature is that the actual quality of the video, especially from an iPhone, both the image and the audio is better than what you could do from your desktop. And also, we designed this app so even if you're sitting at your desktop, recording the video on your mobile device, think of it as like another screen where you can, one, control your background a little bit better because you can move that phone around and really have the backdrop that you want. And the actual audio and video is just more clear and more concise. So really, we designed this that every time you add video to a Mortgage Coach report, you should be doing that with your mobile phone. And again, really hats off to our product team. The way that they designed this is not only can you add the current video, but you can replace and re-record new videos. So let's say you did TBD, you did that at your desk, and now they put it in escrow, they firmed it up. It's really easy just to replace and re-record that video and do it. And then we've also made it really easy for you. You're out with a realtor and you want to show off what you do and how you do it. We've made it so that it's a demo. Show them what you do and how you do it. So, Jeremy Forcier was our guest last week. We're going to showcase some of Jeremy's strategies. But I just can't emphasize enough, every top producer I talk to, they're delivering this not just because they want to deliver value to the borrower they're meeting with. They want to make sure that everybody who's in the loop on that transaction, the borrower, the realtor, the family member, the friend, the advisor, the genius father-in-law, the buddy at work that's bought 40 properties, everybody's in the loop on how awesome your advice is and how clear it is. So, Danny, I want to ask a couple more questions, and if you could weigh in again. So, Maureen asked, can you sign into Edge on your iPhone? So yeah, Maureen, you can sign in to add a video and to pull it up. You cannot create an actual TCA from your mobile phone yet. You create the TCA on your desktop, you add video and update videos from your mobile, and yes, it does work on an Android and an iOS. Let's see, I'm not going to answer the question on how I got it on my iPhone yet, but if you want to email me, I'll get into that. Do I need a mic on my own phone to see that you're doing? So yeah, the mic automatically works. By the way, Chastity just said this is the best improvement to date. I've been waiting for this since I signed up, so really happy to hear that we wowed you and we delivered value. And then Lisa, yes, it is on Android. So yes, this feature to be able to record the video, Danny has an Android, and Danny, it works on your phone, right?
Absolutely, yep.
So again, folks, we want to make today's call, not only are we providing you with ideas and direction to deliver videos to borrowers and families so everybody's in the loop, we want to make this a teaching. So ask questions, raise your hand if you want to weigh in with some thoughts. We're going to have Josh Mettle join us within the next 10 minutes. Actually, it looks like Josh might be on the call. Josh, have you joined us?
I'm here.
All right. Good to have you, brother.
Nice to be here, Dave.
Good. Well, hey, Josh, I don't know when you got on. I'm going to review a few things. And, this is pretty informal conversation, so feel free to weigh in with any thoughts. But, Josh, one thing I want to make sure that you saw, because I've been working with you as well as a number of top-performing mortgage coaches to really create the playbook for how a mortgage coach TCA and video is used post-TRID. Danny's going to drill down a little bit more about what he's doing now, but just so you're in the loop, what we're advocating is that you would create a video and numbers TBD at the pre-qual. Once it's firmed up, properties in escrow, update if needed. If there's a change of circumstance, again, update the numbers, change the video. And then, the most important part of closing the loan is closing smooth, closing everybody's in the loop. And with TRID, it's going to be more important than ever that the borrower and the realtor are in the loop. So you can really avoid some phone calls if you've set the expectation with your realtor, with your buyer. Here's your link, here's your numbers, and throughout the process of the loan, as things change, we'll update those numbers and we'll update that video. And now, literally, what might take a phone call with both the buyer and the realtor, it could just be an email or a text saying, I've updated the numbers in the video. Check it out. Call me if you have questions. Do you connect the dots on that, Josh?
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
Cool. So Josh, I'm going to bring you in just a few minutes. I want to make sure we walk through some of the things that we've done with Danny in the past, because Danny, and by the way, everybody, in the Mortgage Coach YouTube page, there's a quick hit from an interview I did with, I don't know if it was Sam or Bill on that call, but we talked about how this is a year ago, you guys were already doing this. So Danny, if you could just walk through, share that for the next 5 minutes or so, and then we'll bring Josh in, and we'll bring how he's using video currently.
Absolutely, Dave. So, the biggest thing, or where we always start with is, why would we do this? What's the goal behind it, and what are we trying to accomplish for our client and for our team? And with the initial pre-approval conversation, there's really two main goals. One is to introduce the client to Mortgage Coach, get them familiar with the interface, get them comfortable with it, but also to really set the bar of communication so high that our competitors, who we know our clients are talking to, it's just the nature of our jobs right now that people are reaching out. They're being told by their family and coworkers, it's irresponsible to go with just one lender. You got to get a lot of quotes. By using the Mortgage Coach in the pre-approval phase, we set the bar so high that it's very difficult for our competitors to come in and create that same feeling of comfort that we're able to do as Mortgage Coach professionals. Then we come into the actual decision point. The next step is, of course, they're in contract now. They have to make a call. We're recommending that they lock, and they have choice. They know now how to evaluate that choice, both in the short, medium, and long term, because we've already introduced the Mortgage Coach interface. And now that conversation, which in the past has sometimes taken more than an hour to really go through all the details and either have them come in and go through everything in person. Now we can condense that into usually no more than a 20-minute conversation, because we've already set the stage with the TBD Mortgage Coach video. And then we get to the next phase, like changes happen. Either appraisal comes in low, or they found out that they needed to pay a big bill, and so the cash to close wasn't quite there, and we needed to make a couple of adjustments. There's nothing that freaks clients out more in the middle of an escrow, in addition to all the other stress that they have with moving and everything that goes along with that, than things changing. So we take them back to that same environment, that same place that they've felt that they'd been empowered by the Mortgage Coach tool to make good choices. And here, now we introduce that change in the context of where they were at, where they're going to be, and then we leave with a video, leave the why behind it, so that they can come back to that and say, okay, now here's where we were, here's where we are now, and this is why that change happened. With the closing video that Dave has highlighted here, oftentimes we'll do that in one or two contexts. Either it's a closing video because there was a, basically fine-tuning done. So it's effectively just an enhanced version of the changes video or the changes presentation. Or if there were no changes, we'll introduce some effective strategies to essentially care for their loan post-closing. So some examples that Dave uses and has used in the past is, some biweekly payment strategies, or using the reinvestment strategy tool in the Mortgage Coach app to show how they might create a freedom point that's more in line with their goals for getting out of their mortgage faster, which everybody wants to do that, and the Mortgage Coach tool provides a lot of context for understanding how that works. And then what we'll also do And this, we actually just recently introduced this strategy, is set the stage for the trigger point for a refinance in the future. And we'll introduce at that time that our team is an effective solution for a refinance if the environment ever got to a point where it was appropriate for them. So if they're an MI buyer, or if maybe they're an FHA, or maybe they had to go to a certain loan program because they had a short sale, and now we know that on some time function they're going to have a more effective loan strategy for them. We can introduce that future loan at the time of closing and say, when you're ready for this, we're your people. Don't, and then, what was happening prior is we were hearing from people, when we did our annual review, that they had refinanced with somebody else because they didn't know we did refis, because we're heavily focused on purchase. But of course, if they're our client, we want them to be our client for life. And then, of course, the annual review video is pretty intuitive. It's that opportunity to carry on that conversation, remind them that we really do still care about them, and we're going to take the time to, as a professional, do that checkup and recommend any optimization that's possible.
So, everybody, I want you to get out your pen and paper, write this down. There's really 3 goals within this closing video. One is to ensure a smooth closing as it pertains to rates and fees and points, and so that there's, and who knows, you may be going in where that is done. It's clean. It's exactly what they thought. There's no concern. So you're not going to spend a lot of time talking about that or changing it. Now you're going to focus on future casting their goals. So to Danny's point, if their goals are interim, like 2 years from now, 3 years from now, and it's about reducing PMI, you're going to speak to that, and you're going to create a tailored TCA that talks about, hey, how can you accelerate that? What if you paid an extra $200 towards your mortgage, and that would help you remove your MI? And you're going to speak to that. We're closing on this, but remember, goal number 1 is remove MI, or position yourself so that you have enough equity in your home within 5 years to move into that bigger home that we talked about. So think of what are their interim goals, and you're positioning yourself from that standpoint. And maybe their goal was, you know what, my goal is just to have this home paid off. It's a 30-year mortgage, but I want to pay it off in 12 years. And then you're going to remind them, well, here's the amount you need to pay and prepay on your mortgage in order to achieve that. So this closing video is smooth closing and align around long-term goals. And then your annual review is to continue to provide updated numbers and video, because now the buyer has used Mortgage Coach, TBD, firmed up, somewhere between closing and annual review. You continue to use it as an effective way to communicate. So before I bring Josh in, I want to remind everybody that Danny and his team, we've got a 4-minute video talking about what they did a year ago. When we interviewed Danny most recently, we broke down his 5 realtor strategies into quick hits. So one of them is the down payment analysis is 3 minutes, the cross qualification analysis is 7 minutes, and the counteroffer analysis, which is a huge boom. Steve Harney loves that, by the way, Danny, and I'm going to be doing a call with Steve soon, and he can't wait to tell the entire real estate industry about your counteroffer analysis. That's only 6 minutes. So, and by the way, that's another thing that we could put up here. There's the TBD, and then there's the counteroffer analysis, assuming there's any challenges. So, huge strategy. So, hey, I do want to bring Josh in. Josh, one of the things that I want to make sure we do, we don't have to do it in this call with you right now, but there's 4 scripts that we really need to nail between now and TRID. We need an updated, realtor value script. So what does it sound like as a mortgage coach to position Mortgage Coach as a valuable tool to a realtor, pre-TRID, post-TRID? What's the borrower total cost script sound like? Obviously, there's what it sounds like today. The script changes a little bit post-TRID. There is a new script, which is the borrower plus realtor closing script, the value we're bringing there, and then there's the mortgage under management script. So Josh, just heads up, between now and the end of the month, I am creating some best practice scripts for both sales leaders like yourself and Danny and a lot of other Mortgage Coach leaders. And then I also have Ken Perry, the last week of this month on Tuesday, we're going to say, here's some scripts. They're good selling scripts and they're compliant selling scripts, and we're going to bake that cake. So just know that that's going down right now, Josh. And with that said, We're going to bring Josh Mettle into the call for the next 15 minutes, and then we're going to, Danny and I will wrap up the call. Also, feel free to ask any questions that you have in GoToMeeting, and I'll try to get to all of those. So, Josh, just knowing what you just sat through, any comments or thoughts, and then I have a couple questions for you around what you're currently doing.
Well, the first thing I'd say is, Danny, you're running circles around me, man, and you're doing an excellent job, and you're doing a lot more with Edge and the way you're leveraging it than I am. So thanks for the motivation. Appreciate that, and a couple of ideas. I found that the initial presentation and the initial decision-making process that one goes through, like this morning we're working on a client that shot an email over and said, hey, our house is under contract. I've got $30,000 down on a $270,000 house. What's your rate and payment? And it just felt like one of those emails that could have been blasted to 5 lenders because it was so generic. And so, we took a few minutes and are putting together an LPMI, a monthly mortgage insurance, an FHA, and they got one of those on-the-cusp credit scores. So it really gives us a chance to get in there and say, if you're asking the question, what's your rate and what's your payment, then you're asking the wrong questions. The right questions are, how much is your loan going to cost you? Because you're going to pay MI one way or the other, and MI is going to be expensive for you because you've got a FICO score just under 700. How much is that going to cost you over the next 5 to 10 years? And so that conversation and that ability to change that conversation and have the correct scripting surrounding that is been so powerful for me, and I'm still really an Edge rookie, Dave. I'm only a year using the system, but that has been such a game changer and so powerful that I haven't gone to step 2, 3, and 4 that Danny has. And so, anyways, I've got a lot to learn from Danny, and I've got your videos written down here. I'm going to go watch all of those. So thanks for that.
Cool. So, well, hey, Josh, you're providing a lot of great leadership because you've always been super successful, even before Mortgage Coach, and the video that you created last has been watched over 1,500 times. So, the way we did that call, where not only was a lot of great ideas, but it was very inspirational around how to just go from zero with Mortgage Coach to doing it at the level you've done. It was tremendous, bro. So let's talk about some scripts, because I know also when I created this video checklist. And everybody, just a reminder that I did a call with Bill Hart. It was only 15 minutes, and it was all around how to create a Mortgage Coach video, an awesome, effective video. And Josh, some of the ideas and leadership you provided were incorporated into that. But let's just talk about scripts that you're using right now. When you position Mortgage Coach with a realtor or a referral partner, just remind us, what that sounds like, because I know you've evolved and you've gotten better. What are you doing today?
So the majority of my business today is consumer direct, or directly in line with builders. So a lot of the selling to referral partners, I probably do a lot less than what it sounds like Danny's doing. A lot of my scripting is that I've worked so much on is direct to that consumer. And one of the things that I missed saying last time until we got off the phone, Dave, and I made a mental note to bring it back up, is when I'm doing that initial phone consultation, and we're in 40 different states across the country, so I'm dealing with people that I'll never meet. They don't know me from Adam. They came across some website or somebody who referred them loosely, and here we are on a conversation. And I'm basically taking that initial consultation over the phone, and I'm asking them a series of questions to draw out and find out more information from me. And in the back of my mind, I'm just positioning myself how I'm going to sell Edge. And at the end of that series of questions, when are you purchasing? If you have a new job, what does that look like? How much down? What price range? What's the credit score? All that kind of stuff, just extracting data. I say, Dave, you know what I'd really like to do? I'd love you to take a moment and complete our client questionnaire, because at the completion of you doing that, I'm going to have an opportunity to put together a total cost analysis for you. And the cool thing about the total cost analysis is that it encompasses all of the costs of your loan. So we're not just going to be looking at an interest rate or closing cost or payment. It's an all-encompassing system that allows us to look at the total cost of your loan, closing costs, interest rate, mortgage insurance, second mortgage, whatever the case may be of the best structure for you. I'm going to be able to set those up side by side, 2 or 3 different scenarios, and then based on the time horizon that you gave me, you thought you'd be in the home between 5 and 10 years, I'm going to be able to sit down and show you categorically which one is going to be the cheapest option, and then we'll talk about the alternative options if for one reason the down payment scenario isn't best for you. But if you would allow me to have that opportunity, I think that's the way I could best serve you. Do you mind if I just email you a link to our client questionnaire? And that's the piece that I think for me has been such a game changer when I can get all of the data out of them, and then they're almost like, yeah, so how do I get this analysis? And now I almost feel like they're pursuing me to the next step. And then we just take a very simple downhill path to the client questionnaire, which of course is AKA loan application, and then the sales process is just a downhill battle from there.
Got it. So I don't know if you guys all connected the dots, but Josh is having that total cost selling script right now. Now, so again, with TRED, it will be a requirement that every single borrower, every single time they get a loan, you will have to start showing them the cost over 5 years in the disclosures and tip. But between now and TRED, it's a competitive advantage. So again, we're going to be providing what we consider to be some of the best selling scripts, and in a way that is compliant between now and the end of the month. So 2 things from everybody right now. First of all, if you believe that the way you are having that borrower conversation that Josh just went through, and you think the way you're doing it is awesome, please, either just pull out your iPhone. It shouldn't be more than a 1-minute script, and videotape yourself and email it to me, or write it out. Just know that between now and the end of the month, my hope is that I have 20 to 50 scripts from successful mortgage coaches, and between myself, Ken Perry, and the mortgage coach community, we really come up with something tight and awesome. So again, if you're on this call, please forward me what I'm going to call the borrower total cost script. That's what Josh just spoke to. What are you doing? What are you saying? And Danny, by the way, we've only got Josh for another 5 minutes, but I am going to ask you the same question after this. What are you saying as the borrower total cost script? So Josh,
hey, Dave.
Yeah, go ahead, Danny.
Hey, Dave, it's Scott Cummings. I just jumped on the call, so just know that I'm on here.
Oh, cool. Well, Scott,
go ahead.
Hey, will you be able to be on the call in 5 minutes? Can I?
I'm on it the remainder of the time with you.
Okay, good. Well, Josh has a hard stop, so I'll bring you in.
Go right ahead. Bring me and just know that I'm here. All right, thanks.
Appreciate it. So, hey, Josh, in the final 5 minutes that you're on today's call, knowing that we want to bring this leadership to all the great loan officers on this call, what else can you add that would help us move the ball and know what you would do and how you would say it among these 4 scripts?
Well, the other piece for me, even though oftentimes I'm not recruiting or trying to really get future business from that realtor that the client comes with when I meet them, and oftentimes I say that because they're spread across the country, and trying to get a realtor in Arkansas to do business with you is a tough challenge. But what I am doing is, once I've created that Edge video and got them on board to send us their credit documents, and we're moving down that path of credit approval, then I'm getting in communication with that realtor, forwarding them over a cost of the Edge, and I'm basically selling the exact same thing. I'm saying, hey, listen, here's who we are, here's what we do, here's the financing proposal that I put together for your client. And I think what's most important here is that that I've got them focused on their total costs over the next 10 years, because that's their estimated time horizon. And essentially what I'm trying to say is, hey, I know that I'm the guy, the out-of-town lender. I know that I'm that guy. And I know that you've probably got a local relationship, and I've got just a couple minutes to make a bond with you, or have you respect me to the point that you're not going to try and steal a client away. And so I think that's a powerful piece too, whether you're actively marketing those other agents, or if you just want to be able to add it in there to add credibility, it goes a long ways. And so whenever clients or realtors representing the buyer will ask questions, I'm always leading with that Edge, and then I'm following it up and just asking them to please walk through the presentation And that always seems to be a game changer in terms of respect once they've seen you go through that.
Got it. So everybody, what you hear from Josh, he's not just sending the email and hoping that realtors click on it. And I've always said sometimes it's not just the fact of what you send people, it's how you frame what you send it, and it's how you push them. And when I say push, it's motivating. Give them a reason to watch it. So, part of the magic and the value is that he's positioned this into their conversations and that he's pushing them through his process. So, hey, Josh, I really appreciate you making time to come into the call. Of course, you're welcome to stay on the call and add any leadership or value along the way, but I also want to be respectful of your schedule, and feel free to jump off anytime, my friend.
Thanks a lot, David. Thanks for having me.
All right, man. Thanks for joining us and bringing the inspiration. So, hey, Danny, before I bring you back in, and Scott, I don't know how much you got to hear, but, one review I'll bring, we all know, and you've talked about this a lot, how important it is that, you create the mortgage coach TCA, everybody in the loop of the decision is in the loop. Part of the leadership we're bringing in today's call, Scott, is the fact that mortgage coach is not just anymore, especially with TRID coming, is not just to win the deal. You want to update it at the point of sale. Often it's TBD. You want to firm it up once they put the home in escrow. If there's a change of circumstance, you can update the numbers, update the video. And then again, we all know that if it closes smooth, it doesn't close ugly, and they're well informed, you can update the mortgage coach video and audio so that, whether you're just making sure it's a smooth transaction, they know the numbers, or whether you're future casting, hey, if you prepaid your mortgage, you could pay off that PMI sooner, and you'd be in a position to buy that bigger home in 5 years. Whatever it is, we're really bringing this leadership to the mortgage coach community to create multiple videos throughout the process. So Scott, with that said, I know you're passionate around just having the mortgage coach conversation when you're out in the field with realtors. But what thoughts do you want to bring to today's call for the next 5 minutes or so, and then Danny and I are going to wrap it up with some thoughts.
Cool. Yeah, let's talk for a second. Where I was, and apologize for being a little late with the time zone, I've been teaching TRID training classes to realtors. And so I just had an hour-and-a-half class. We had 27 or 28 realtors in the room. I did another one a few days ago. We had 20-plus realtors in the room. And it's the idea of, and Mortgage Coach is perfect for this. We have to educate and empower our clients. And I love that. I built my practice all of these years on educating and empowering people. And I think that's awesome. And so with the realtors and using Mortgage Coach and TCAs, we need to sit down and show them about this process and educate them through this. And it was a perfect opportunity. The big takeaway I have for everyone on this call is to sit down with them today, and we talked about the closing and what creates the most stress or drama in the transaction that they control, and it's the closing date. We walked them through how many days for offer, how many days for inspections, resolutions, appraisals, underwriting, all of those things, and we talked about creating a stronger partnership focused at the core of educating and empowering our clients, and that's the key. If we educate and empower the clients, we make a difference, which increases repeat business and referrals. And so we're building and deepening and strengthening relationships using your technology. Lastly, the other big takeaway that we're doing all the time that is so powerful and impactful when we're meeting with these realtors or financial planners, CPAs, trust attorneys, you've got to have Mortgage Coach on your iPad, you've got to have it on your mobile device, and you've got to be able to talk about how you are different. I just had an interaction last week where a financial planner had a client, and from a lender they brought in some Xerox copy of an estimate of closing information versus me, who created a super detailed spreadsheet analysis over their estimated length of home ownership, the loan term, quantified numbers over 5 and 15 years, and sent it to them to review. It was the game changer. Again, we have to have a different conversation, create a distinction using this Mortgage Coach technology, not only with the client, but with our referral partners, to really drive home this educate and empower them to make a difference. It's huge.
Beautiful. So I just had a Rich Hayden just said, I just did a video on my mobile phone during the call. So I'm going to close the call in the last 5 minutes, just reminding you guys how to do that. But I just can't emphasize how simple, how easy it is. I had someone ask, they mentioned that Joe Patur is showing up on your mobile phone. Again, what you want to do is you want to send yourself a link. Well, actually, what you want to do is you want to log in to the back end of the app and click on one of the scenarios you provided the client. So I'll show you how to do that again in a minute. You get a reminder, people keep asking about Android, and yes, the new feature and the ability to record is on Android and iOS. And if you see a few people who are having some trouble, you can email support@mortgagecoach.com. Also, in this Thursday's 9 o'clock training call, we'll make sure to focus on how to create videos from your mobile device. So again, this Thursday at 9 o'clock, we'll be there. Go ahead.
Dave, here's a quick best practice item that we use that will really help them. Everyone knows you should be using like the selfie pole. You get a better perspective of you, the home, the agent, whatever you're creating the video from. One of the devices you want to get, and I'll email it to you, you can share it with everyone. It's a little Bluetooth thing I keep on my keychain, and it's called Shutter, S-H-U-T-T-R, and it's a Bluetooth control for the iPhone or the Droid. And so you put your camera out on the end of the selfie pole, and it'll start and stop the video. And so there's not the awkwardness of you reaching for the phone or bringing the camera down. You can shoot perfectly smooth start and stop videos, and I'll send you a link to some of the stuff we're using to create great videos.
Fantastic. Really appreciate that, Scott. So again, I just want to give you guys a checklist. If you do not know what a great mortgage coach video looks like, make sure you watch the call I did with Bill Hart. It's 15 minutes, super short. If you can't find it in our YouTube page, just go to the Mortgage Coach YouTube page, do a search with Bill Hart. So Mortgage Coach and Bill Hart, super effective, and we also have a checklist in that. So you're seeing it on my screen right now. You can listen to the recording of this and see this checklist, and you can download it from the video. I want to remind everybody that between now and the end of the month, we will have 4 scripts. The realtor value script, the borrower total cost script, a closing script for both the borrower and the realtor around how using Mortgage Coach helps, and then the mortgage under management script. Being able to position how you use Mortgage Coach in a way that helps that borrower manage their mortgage over time. So Danny, we're kind of getting into wrap-up mode. I do want to show my app one more time, and I do want to walk people through this. But is there any thoughts that have come to your mind, after Josh and Scott, that you want to bring to bear?
I just want to say Scott nailed it. I mean, perfect message. I mean, the way we describe it in the office is communicate, educate, execute. That's exactly what the clients want and need. That's exactly what the realtors want and need. So if you come from that place as you're approaching the total cost analysis and video, you really can't go wrong.
Right on. So folks, just a reminder how to do this. Log into your app, whether it's an Android or an iOS. By the way, if you don't see this guy in the upper left-hand corner, this profile shot, you need to update your app. So your app is not updated. But you click on that, and that takes you to this back end. Again, it's the same login as Edge. And now you click on client information. And again, you can also create co-branded scenarios. So I can click on partner and update an open house flyer or something that's co-branded. But today, I really want to focus on Tread. First of all, you could do a search. So that person in chat who said, "Oh, I'm seeing Joe Patur's video," well, that's because you're not looking at your videos. These are your videos, are your Mortgage Coach TCAs. And you click on total cost. Now, I could go into Edge Live. I just clicked on Edge Live, and now whatever I'm clicking on here and I'm moving, the buyer is seeing that. And if the buyer and the realtor are at their desktop or their mobile phone, they're following along with me. They're seeing exactly what I'm seeing. And I'm having what we call a live experience. So again, in today's call, I really am focusing on how to create awesome Mortgage Coach videos. So, click on the client, click on the video. You can either add a video that's already in your album, or you can click on camera and boom, I'm recording it. And like I said, I've had a number of people during this call. I don't usually encourage multitasking, but I've had a number of people multitask and do it. So again, everybody, if you have more questions, email support@mortgagecoach.com or come to our Thursday training. Upper left-hand corner, click on it, log in, action. So guys, we've got a few minutes left. I don't know which one of you wants to share some ideas. Well, you know what? Let's do this. I want to get one more script out of Scott. Scott, knowing that these are the 4 scripts that we're going to focus on, I would love to hear your realtor value script. How are you, what's it sound like if I'm a realtor, whether I'm in person or over the phone, although it might be different, and you're trying to share how using Mortgage Coach has value? What does that sound like?
It sounds something like this. I'd say, Dave, tell me about what's working, what's important for you working with loan officers. You might share 1 or 2 or 3 things. And I'd say, that is so awesome. I'd say, tell me, how are they educating and empowering your clients so that they know the choices they're making around the mortgage in this home purchase dramatically impact their lives? It's the best for their financial goals and abilities. How is your current loan officer relationships doing that? And they're going to respond with, well, they quote them rates. I just send them over there. I don't know what happens. And so what I'm able to do is say, gosh, I said, let me show you what we're doing. We're committed to educating and empowering our clients, and we're using technology where everyone lives today. That's on their mobile device, their tablets, and their PCs. And I said, let's take a look at what we're preparing for the clients and show you what that technology looks like. I pull up my iPad, I pull up my iPhone, I click on it, and I say, hey, Dave, let's take a look here. Here's the sample analysis we prepared for a client. Let's take a look at, I said, notice you can look at not only at the payments, you can look at closing costs, which helps you write offer. We can talk about reinvestment strategies. We can talk about seller-paid closing cost strategies. Here's some bar graphs for that client that really make a difference, and I walk them through that, and I give them the iPad and let them scroll up and down, touch the back button, the more info button, and all of a sudden they are blown away and mesmerized by the fact that someone has this level of technology, but more importantly, this level of planning and commitment to educating their clients versus just issuing them a good faith or a loan estimate, and that's all they're doing for someone. So the question, I believe, for these loan officers is, how do we ensure the loan officer they're being referred to is giving them what's in their best interest? And many times we as loan officers meet with a client and they've met with other lenders and they're shopping for a mortgage, and I'll say, how do you know that is the best product or program for you? And they'll typically say, well, the loan officer told me so. And I believe we stop them right there and say, well, how do you know? And they said, they just told me. And I'm like, what if we took a moment, educated, empowered you, created a personalized analysis based on your individual goals, your financial budgets, your objectives, and more importantly, your estimated length of home ownership, and we create the analysis for you live here today, and I send it to you, and you have something to share with friends, family, financial advisors to ensure you're making the best decision. Would that be important to you?
Love it. Love it, man. So couple other questions. Tony just came in and said, when you add the new video, will the app prompt them that there's a new video or message? So first of all, Tony, great suggestion. Today it won't. So you would just, with email or text, ping them to let them know. But I will let our product team know about that request, and I urge anybody that has feature requests, suggestions, either email support@mortgagecoach.com or go to our support page, and there is a place once you log in where you can post suggestions. But Tony, thank you for that. So as we get into wrap-up mode, Danny, I would love to hear, and I know you've said it before, so I know you're repeating yourself, but what does your realtor value script sound like with Mortgage Coach? And when you think of TRID, is there anything that you would change about it? And if so, what would that sound like?
To keep it really brief, I think that the main thing when we're communicating with realtors is to really understand what they're after. What do they really need from us as mortgage professionals? And I believe that comes down to 2 things. And the first one is they need their clients to act confidently. They need them to not be wishy-washy or hesitant, because there's so many decisions to make throughout the process that any one hang-up can ruin the whole deal. And they want to be confident that the mortgage professional that they're referring is going to create that confident action on the part of the buyer, so that the mortgage isn't going to be the thing that keeps, basically pumps the brakes on the whole process. The second thing they need, and I believe that this is really where the Mortgage Coach Edge, adding that to your realtor presentation really provides value, is to know that they're dealing with a professional that is going to take the client off their hands and go soup to nuts through the loan process, so that realtor isn't going to be getting calls about things that maybe they don't even fully understand themselves, and being asked questions that they get kind of put in the hot seat to answer, when really that shouldn't be their realm. And by taking the Mortgage Coach Edge presentation into those meetings, you are demonstrating that you have the ability and willingness to take that off their plate so that they can go out and get more listings and get more buyers, which is really what they need to be doing. And in that way, you're growing your businesses together. Because the more they're prospecting for houses and buyers, the more loans you'll get referred. And by taking the client off their hands, you give them the opportunity to do that. So I don't have a particular script for that, but really getting to that kind of core messaging of what we're looking to communicate in those meetings, those two things would be it.
Got it. So, and by the way, I just pulled a slide from when we did the interview that, I mean, I think that's been watched almost 1,000 times now around your 5 mortgage strategies. But when you guys vetted it out in that call, it was education, communication, and execution. And Jeremy, here's that slide that you wanted to see again. Hopefully this helps. And remember, this is being recorded and will be posted on our YouTube channel, you know, by the end of the day. But Mortgage Coach is now a tool that's even more important to you winning and succeeding in this business because of all the changes with TRID. Nothing is more important than your ability to effectively and efficiently communicate with the buyer and the realtor. So whether it's TBD and you're providing options in a way that is just better, whether, you know, like the Gaylord Hanson team did in their counter offer analysis, and you're using it to help the buyer make a more confident decision, you know, that's an important touch point. Whether they put it in escrow and now you're fine-tuning the numbers and you're making it clear, here's your options. Again, whether it's a change of circumstances and now you're providing Mortgage Coach as a way to, you know, educate and communicate. You know, at the end of the day, it's educate and communicate, and the more effectively you can do that, the more referrals that you'll get, the less extra phone calls that you have with people, and the more wowed they'll be by you. So, you know, that today's call is, I want to say we're starting that conversation. By the end of this month, we will have at least 4 new scripts for you. We will have, you know, we'll continue to fine-tune this work process. So I want to remind everybody on this call that I'm asking you guys, if you have a great script, it's time that we come together as an industry, actually come together as mortgage coaches and come up with some awesome scripts. You know, what do you say to realtors? What do you say to borrowers? To have that effective closing, what's that script sound like? And then Dylan Kramer just came in and said, hey, I would love some leadership around the mortgage under management script. So we've only got 2 minutes left. I'm not going to try to just push that in to the system. Dylan, all I'll tell you is that by the end of the month, we'll crush that. We'll have some scripting. We'll have some thoughts. So Mortgage Coach community, please email me your success stories, dave@mortgagecoach.com. Email me your scripts, and at the end of the day, this is the play that every mortgage coach should be running. You know, show the MC mobile app at every realtor meeting so that they understand what you do and how you do it. Scott Cummings is the master of that. Make sure you send that video and a link to the realtor after you meet up. So you're teaching them and you're training them through experience, and make sure every time that you forward mortgage options, you know, TBD or a realtor's involved, make sure the realtor's in the loop. You know, this is what Mortgage Coach pros do. Hopefully everybody on this call is doing that. So, Scott, any final words as we wrap up today's call?
You know, the biggest aha takeaway that I got from this is I'm going to start doing some Mortgage Coach PCAs around the freedom point. Once we get their loan closed, I'm going to do a really cool updated Mortgage Coach video on helping them accelerate the prepayment of that mortgage and get debt free. I think that's huge, and what a cool follow-up relational connection, and it's also a way to continue to have annual mortgage planning groups with your client and talk about goals and objectives to help them hit their freedom point.
Love it. Love it. By the way, I just pushed the poll. Have you created a Mortgage Coach video on mobile? 20% said yes, so we're making progress, but guys, you know, 80% of you said no. So let's make that an absolute priority this week. I've shown you how to do it. You know, we are having a call on Tuesday to do that. Really, hopefully the why is really clear, and today is the day. Create a video on your mobile app. Please let us know what you thought of today's call on a scale of good to great, you know, to wowing you. Let us know what you thought of today's call. If you're new to the Mortgage Coach community and you'd like to learn more, ask for a demo. Danny, I'll give you the final words. Last thoughts before we wrap it up.
The last thought here, Dave, is that we so appreciate these opportunities to come and collaborate. Thank you so much for all that you do. It's
an honor, bro, and thank you every time I ask you to come in and provide leadership. Your prep is awesome, and you always deliver value. So it's what you do. I'm grateful for it to both of you guys. All right, guys. I hope my inbox fills up with some scripts. Again, Dave@mortgagecoach.com. Please forward me some awesome scripts. Let's come together as a community of professionals, and let's by the end of this month, let's have the recipe to awesomeness nailed, and then we'll spend the month of July preparing for August 1, because guys, it's upon us. It's time to execute. Take care, everybody. Have an awesome week.